What's up, Yarny Box subscribers? Today we have Pedro the Polar Bear. Pedro can be made with or without this super cute red scarf. Let's grab our Yarny Box kit and get started. If you don't already have your Pedro kit, you can head to yarnybox.com and pick up yours today. In your Yarny Box kit, you'll find that the magic ring is already started for you. This is so that we can start off the project nice and easy and you don't have to worry about a complicated beginning. This is the very first round of the project. Here you'll see I'm pointing out the little V's. These are actually stitches, so you should be able to go around the circle and count 6 stitches or 6 V's. The stitches are what you're going to be working into in the next round in order to build on your project. You'll also find 2 stitch markers. This blue one here is marking the very first stitch of the round. That's where we're going to place the first stitch of the next round. The green stitch marker is marking the loop in which you're going to place your crochet hook to start working. You can see here that you can actually tighten and loosen this loop by pulling on this string that's attached to the ball of yarn. There are 2 different ways in which you can hold your crochet hook. This first way is like a knife. The second way is like a pencil. I personally find the pencil hold a little bit easier, but it's up to you. You can play around and hold your crochet hook however you'd like. Next, you're going to take the yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn and wrap it a couple times around your finger. And then I like to pinch the magic ring with my middle finger and thumb like this. Again, this is just how I like to work on my projects, but as you go along, you can play with how you want to hold everything. So you can remove the green stitch marker and pop in your crochet hook into that loop. You're going to want to tighten the loop to make it so that it's pretty tight on the crochet hook. Don't make it so tight that you can't move the crochet hook, but you definitely don't want it to be too loose. Something like this is appropriate. The trickiest part about learning how to crochet is learning how to hold everything in your hands. I definitely recommend rewatching the beginning of this video until you get the hang of holding everything. And if you accidentally undo your magic ring, I have a tutorial linked down below of how to redo that. So let's get started on round 2. We're going to start off by removing the blue stitch marker. You can pull on it a little bit and you'll find a little hole. That's exactly where we're going to be inserting our hook into to make the very first stitch of round 2. So once you pop out your stitch marker, you're going to insert your hook exactly where the stitch marker was. Before we insert a hook, I just want to make sure that you're holding your hook properly. So you want to make sure it's parallel to your body and make sure the hook is facing downwards. That's going to make it a lot easier to guide the yarn in and out of each stitch. So pop your hook into the stitch. Again, it looks like a V, so now you should have 3 little loops on your hook. Next, we are going to yarn over, which means we're grabbing the yarn with our crochet hook like this, and we are gliding the yarn through the first 2 little loops on our hook like so. And now we're going to do that again, so yarn over and pull the yarn through the 2 loops on your hook. This is called a single crochet. This is the first stitch of the round. Our next stitch is going in the exact same stitch that we were just in. So this stitch and not this stitch. We're going in the same hole that we were just in. So insert your hook into that little V, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops like so. Now you have 2 loops left on your hook, so yarn over and pull through those 2 remaining loops. What we just did is called an increase because we popped 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Now you're going to count down 2 stitches away from the loop or the first stitch that we made, and you're going to mark it with a stitch marker. Next, we're going to make another single crochet in the next available stitch. So that's going to be this one here. Pop in your hook. There's 3 loops on your hook now. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. And then yarn over again and pull through those second 2 loops. That was 1 single crochet. Now we're going to make our second single crochet in the same exact hole. So in the same place we just were, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through the second 2 loops. Again, this is called an increase because we placed 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So now we have 4 new stitches, but we've only worked into 2 stitches from the previous round. So here I'm just pointing out with my thumb the 4 new stitches that we've done. Carrying on to the next stitch, we are going to make a single crochet, and now we're going to make a second single crochet in the exact same hole. Moving on to the next stitch. Again, here's your first single crochet, and here's your second single crochet in the same stitch. Again, popping your first single crochet in there and your second single crochet. And now we're moving on to the very last stitch of the round. 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets. That completes round 2. So because we placed 2 single crochets in each of the stitches of the previous round, we now have 12 little V's or 12 stitches in this round. So you should be able to go around and count 12 stitches. Moving on to round 3, we are only going to be increasing in every other stitch around the circle this time, meaning we're going to be going from 12 stitches to 18 stitches. And I'll show you what that means. So take out your stitch marker and we're going to place our first single crochet in the next available stitch here. So single crochet, and then we are going to pause and mark this stitch. This is the first stitch of this round. And now we are moving on to the next stitch. So not this one, but this one here. And we're going to place 2 single crochets into this stitch. So here's our first single crochet, and we're going in for our second single crochet. That's an increase. Okay, so we have 3 stitches and we've only worked in 2. In the next stitch, make 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, make 2 single crochets in the same stitch. That's 1 and 2. Next one, single crochet. Next one, increase, or 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Next one, single crochet. Next one, increase. So we are just alternating between 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets in each stitch around. Keep repeating this pattern until you get back to the stitch marker. So this is the last available stitch of the round, so we are making an increase in the last stitch here. And now if you go around the circle, you should be able to count 18 little V's or 18 stitches. Moving on to round 4, you can remove your stitch marker and again place the first stitch of the round and then mark that stitch. Now we're moving into the next available stitch, and we are also placing a single crochet here. And now we're moving into the next available stitch, and we are placing an increase in the third stitch here. So make your increase. Pattern this round is single crochet, increase. So single crochet, single crochet, and increase. single crochet, increase. Single crochet, single crochet, and increase. And just keep repeating this pattern until you get back to the stitch marker. At the end of this round, we are going to have 24 stitches. So now you should be able to count 24 little stitches in your ring. And round 5 is going to be our last round of increasing. So for round 5, place your first single crochet and then mark that stitch. Now this round is 3 single crochets in a row with an increase in the 4th stitch. So that's our 3rd, and now we're doing an increase in the 4th stitch. That's single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, increase. So here's our first single crochet, second single crochet, third single crochet, and increase. Single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and increase. And just keep repeating this pattern until you get back to the stitch marker. At the end of this round, we will have 30 stitches. We're coming up on the last stitch here. This is an increase. And now we have 30 stitches in our circle and we are finished with the increasing. So you can remove your stitch marker and then we are going to continue on to round 6. Place your first single crochet and then mark that stitch. This round, we are just doing 1 single crochet in every single stitch around. So there's no increasing here, just a plain old single crochet in each one of these 30 stitches. We will be ending this round with 30 stitches. We're coming up on the last few single crochets of the round. And there you have it. So for the next 9 rounds, we are just going to be doing the exact same thing. So for 9 more rounds, we are just placing 1 single crochet in each stitch around the circle. And that's going to make the body look like a little bit of an egg. Before I continue, I'm just going to show you how to count your rows. So here's round 1. Round 2 is here. 3, 4, 5, and we just did 6. Because we're doing the same thing for the next 9 rounds, if you do lose track, you can always just count your rounds and you'll know that you're done this step of the project when you can count 15 rounds. So for round 7, I'll do it slowly with you on camera here. So place your first single crochet of the round and then mark that stitch. After round 7, I'm going to speed up the video and I'll meet you back once you've completed round 15. So again, all we're doing here is just one single crochet in each one of these stitches around. And at the end of this round, we are still going to have just 30 stitches. Coming up on the last few stitches of round 7. And now for rounds 8 to 15, or for the next 8 rounds, I'm just going to speed up the camera and I'll meet you back once you are on round 15. We're just coming up on the last few stitches of round 15. Now it's time to pop in the polar bear's eyes. If you're using a Yarny Box kit, your safety eyes will be in the little envelope with the needle. So they are the black safety eyes and they have 2 little plastic backs. They look something like this. We're going to be placing them between rounds 7 and 8. And make sure you're doing this on the opposite side of your stitch marker. And then count down 7 rounds down from the top. So right in there. And all you're going to do is pop in your safety eyes. I like to do about 4 stitches apart from each other, but you can place your eyes wherever you'd like. Just make sure that they are on the opposite side of the stitch marker. Once you're happy with the eye placement, you can pop the backs on. It just clicks right onto the back of the safety eye. So So now that we have Pedro's eyes on, we can continue the rest of the project. Round 16 is going to be 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So place your first single crochet of the round and then mark that stitch. Here is our second single crochet in the next stitch, and then a third single crochet. And now we are going to be combining 2 stitches together to make a decrease. So you can see here that each stitch has 2 loops. So this is the front loop, and this is the back loop. This is both loops on your hook. To make a decrease, we are only going in the front loop of the next 2 stitches. So insert your hook into the front loop only of the next available 2 stitches. So right in there, and then immediately into the next one as well. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, and you can see the back loops are also not touched. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. This is a decrease. So single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and we're going to do a decrease. So front loop only of the next 2 stitches, and then continue on like normal. So 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So front loop only, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and decrease. Just keep following the pattern of 3 single crochets and a decrease until you get back to the stitch marker. At the end of this round, we are going to have 24 stitches. So we're coming up on the last decrease of the round. And now you can see the body is going inwards a little bit, and we are almost done with the body. Now we're moving on to round 17. We are going to place our first single crochet of the round and then mark that stitch. Make your next single crochet, and then we are going to do a decrease. So this round is 2 single crochets and a decrease. That's 2 and decrease. Single crochet, and decrease. Single crochet, and decrease. And just keep following this pattern until you get back to the stitch marker. The end of this round, we are going to have 18 stitches. Just finishing up the last decrease here. For round 18, we can remove our stitch marker and then make our first stitch of the round. And then we are going to mark that stitch. Next, we are going to make a decrease and then make a single crochet. Decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet, and just keep repeating this until you get back to the stitch marker. Coming up on the last decrease. Now we are going to pause and we're going to stuff the body. To stuff the body, you're going to want to pull the stuffing apart and make it pretty fluffy before you put it in the body. And make sure you're not just shoving it all in there. You want to make sure that you're really shaping out the body of the polar bear. So make sure that you're using your fingers to shape out the top of the head and the sides of the body. You want to stuff your polar bear firmly, but not so firm that the stitches are kind of bulging out and all you can see is the stuffing. So the bottom should look something like this. The stuffing should not be coming out of the bottom. So for round 19, you can remove your stitch marker. This is the last round of the whole body. And for this round, we're going straight and do a decrease. So once you've done your first decrease, you can mark that stitch. And now we are going to carry on decreasing in every single stitch around. So no single crochets here, only decreases. Once you've done your last decrease, you can pause and cut the yarn. So leave about 6 or 7 inches for sewing. And you're just going to pull the yarn right through the loop here to tighten it off, and then you can remove the stitch marker as well. And if you want, you can poke a little bit more stuffing in the bottom if you feel like your polar bear isn't stuffed enough. Next, we're going to take our yarn needle and we are going to thread it onto the yarn. I find it easier to fold the yarn in half and kind of squish it onto the needle. And we're gonna sew the hole shut, and to do that, all you're gonna do is poke your needle through the front loop of each one of these 6 stitches left over. So just in the front loop of all these stitches. This is gonna create a drawstring effect. And now you can just pull the hole shut. Now I'm going to weave in my yarn so that it doesn't come unraveled. So all I'm doing here is poking my yarn in and out of random holes in the body, just to make sure that it's not going to come unwoven. And now you can trim the tail, and we are moving on to part 2. Part 2, I'll show you how to make the ears, snout, and scarf.